S- Thank you. So good morning, good afternoon, and I think good evening. We have registered participants from all over the world, and I would like to welcome you in this learning session on highly hazardous pesticides. My name is Chinky, and I'm the regional coordinator of IPEN for Southeast and East Asia. And I'm so happy to see you all this afternoon. Thank you so much for taking your time to be with us and to learn with us on this very important topic. This online session aims to provide a venue for local, national, and global updates and campaigns on highly hazardous pesticides, H or HHPs. So this is a very important topic and also very important concern in our region in Southeast and East Asia, and I'm sure also very important issue in other regions as well. So today we will be learning a lot about HHPs, updates from the national, regional, and also global. And we hope that the knowledge and reflections that we will be hearing and learning from this learning session will also sustain our commitment to continue our work in addressing the impacts of highly hazardous pesticides in our wherever we are, wherever our work, like in our national, in our country, and also in our communities, and also globally. I thank the co-organizers, Gita Pertiwi or Yayasan Gita Pertiwi from Indonesia, Green Camel Bell from China, and in China, and Eco Waste Coalition in the Philippines. I thank you so much for your commitment, for your help in organizing this learning session. And so now, in order to welcome us, I would like to request our friend Manny Alonso, campaigner from the Eco Waste Coalition, for his welcome message. So he sent us a video of his welcome message, and I'm gonna share screen. Okay, share, and then
Warm greetings from the Philippines. On behalf of the Ecoways Coalition and the other co-organizers, I thank you all for participating in this online learning session about highly hazardous pesticides, which present high levels of acute or chronic hazards to public health and the environment. This webinar is very timely. As many of you would know, last month, September 30 to be exact, marks the first anniversary of the Global Framework on Chemicals for a planet free of harm from chemicals and waste. One of the targets of the said framework is to discontinue highly hazardous pesticides in agriculture by 2035. We will learn more about this important global goal with the help of our distinguished colleague and friend, Dr. Tadesse Amera from Ethiopia. For the main presentations, we will be learning from Dr. Maksut about the study she and her research partners did on the impacts of highly hazardous paraquat on human and environmental health. Dr. Maksud is from Indonesia, the largest producer of palm oil in Southeast Asia. She will be followed by Dr. Won Kim, who will talk about the detection of highly hazardous pesticides in Malaysia, Philippines, and Vietnam, and how farmers and their families are exposed. There will also be a presentation on the use of highly hazardous chlorpyrifos in Indonesia by Rosana Dewi and how it has affected the food supply, the environment, and the people. As this is a learning session, we have provided space for IPEN participating organizations from the Philippines and Vietnam to talk about their initiatives to address the problems with highly hazardous pesticides, including efforts to reduce pesticide use and promote safer and sustainable practices in agriculture. We will also learn from Zhao Zong and Zhu Ziran about their activities in China to address pesticide packaging waste and their other related efforts. I'm afraid some of us will experience information overload in the next 1.5 hours. But don't worry about it. Our presenters are kind enough to respond to any requests for clarification if time will allow. I would like to conclude by thanking Chinky for bringing us all together for this learning session and for all the co-organizers, presenters, and attendees for grabbing this opportunity to learn about the human health and environmental impacts of highly hazardous pesticides and the efforts, especially by civil society organizations, to address these toxic threats to people's lives and the natural environment. Thank you and enjoy our learning session.
Thank you so much, Sir Manny. Um, we heard no that we were supposed to conduct this learning session in celebration of the first anniversary of the global framework on chemicals, but then it's okay. um October is, we have lots of celebrations this October. We even have the International World Food Day last October 16, and also a lot of us in our region have several activities no in promoting agroecology this month. So this is very timely, and thank you all again for joining us. So this time I will request Dr. Tadesi Amera, the Executive Director of Pesticide Action Network in Ethiopia, and also the co-chair of the Pesticide Action Network, no, international co-chair, for his keynote message. Thank you so much for joining us again in this important learning session, Dr. Tadesi. The floor is yours now.
Thank you, Chinky. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Tadessa from Ethiopia. I'm very glad to share the experience we had for the last couple of years. Highly hazardous pesticides, or HHPs, constitute relatively small share of all pesticides registered globally, but they cause the most harm. Nearly 385 million cases of unintentional pesticide poisoning and approximately 11,000 fatalities occur every year. Furthermore, 1 to 2 million cases of self-poisoning occur annually, resulting in approximately 168,000 deaths. The vast majority of cases are in low and middle income countries. According to FAO and WHO, the continued use of HHPs undermines the alternative of several Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, because of their adverse effects on health, food security, biodiversity, and other environmental negative impacts such as pollution. Also, the continued use of highly hazardous pesticides contribute to worsen all three planetary environmental crises. Therefore, effective multi-stakeholder and multi-sectoral action on HHPs is vital. In line with these, public interest civil society organizations, including IPEN and PAN, in low and middle income countries have been working with smallholder farmers and developed agroecological alternatives that replace HHPs in agriculture. These alternatives have also been proved to be more effective than HHPs in maintaining better productivity with no impact on human health and the environment. Moreover, HHPs have already been phased out from agriculture in several countries without affecting agricultural productivity. But progress to phase them out globally has been slow and uneven, especially in significant number of developing countries. Taking this in account, the government policy negotiators of the Africa region took this issue at the 19th ordinary session of the African Ministerial Conference on the Environment, also called AMSEN, which was held in Addis Ababa in August 2023. At this meeting, the African ministers of the environment urged member states to support the establishment of the Global Alliance on Highly Hazardous Pesticides under the Global Framework on Chemicals, also called GFC, to mobilize and coordinate global action by the range of stakeholders to achieve a global phase out of highly hazardous pesticides and to adopt sustainable alternatives. As a result of the AMSEN request and the strong push from the African negotiators, International Conference on Money indicated earlier, in September 2023, issued a resolution to establish a global alliance on highly hazardous pesticides. This is expected to mobilize and coordinate the efforts of the range of stakeholders to achieve a reduction in risk from the use of highly hazardous pesticides, phase out HHPs where risks have not been managed, and make safer and more sustainable alternative accessible. It will be convened as a voluntary, collaborative, and multi-stakeholder initiative under the auspice of the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, the United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP, the World Health Organization, WHO, the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, and the International Labour Organization, ILO. Following the ICCM5 decision, Ethiopia, as the president of AMSEN, requested the sixth meeting of the United Nations Environment Assembly, or UNIA6, to issue a higher level resolution on phasing out HHPs from agriculture, which was issued in February 2024. These are the consecutive and series of global policy wins. A global level of policy support now encourages the agroecological approach of phasing out of HHPs from agriculture with scientifically proved alternatives that replace them with more contribution to achieve SDGs. Dear colleagues, we now have this global policy support for us to act as grassroots level to implement agroecological alternatives that replace highly hazardous pesticides and mitigate their negative impacts in the triple planetary crisis. Agriculture productivity is feasible through agroecology without the use of highly hazardous pesticides, and this supports us to work more at grassroots level. Thank you very much. And I wish you all a very good deliberation in this meeting, and thank you for the organizers. Back to you, Chinky.
Thank you so much, Tadesi. I forgot to mention that Tadesi is also a former co-chair of IPAN, and we are very grateful for his leadership. And hearing the updates from you, Tadesi, from your efforts from the national and also regional and even at the global levels. So there are already global policy in place in which we just need to advocate to promote in our countries that are so our countries will also somehow adopt or and formulate policies in relation to the global policy on HHPs. And very important also, you mentioned about the very good alternative, agroecology, which a lot of, I think, of participating organizations of IPAN in our region are already also advocating agroecology. So thank you again so much, Tadesi. I know that you are very busy, but if you can stay or if there are questions to you, I hope that it's also okay to ask you questions. But if you are also busy, you can feel free to leave, and I will just relay the questions if there are questions for you. Thank you so much again, Tadesi.
Thank you very much. I'm already in the cotton field, and I'm going to join the farmers now. If you excuse me, but I'm very glad to receive any question, and thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much again. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye, Tadesi, and all the best.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.
All right. So from keynote message, we will now proceed with the presentation, with the first presentation. This is a very important topic, and we're grateful We are grateful to our speakers, Dr. Maksuk from the Health Polytechnic of Palembang, Indonesia. She will share with us the impacts of herbicide use and palm oil plantation to environment and health. Thank you so much, Dr. Maksuk, and the floor is yours.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Chinky.
Yes, please go
I
ahead.
share my PPT.
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. Can you see my PPT?
Yes, yes, we can see it now.
Thank you, Chinky. The first I want to honorable two conference committee speakers and all participants and on this Zoom. This afternoon, I will present the result of our study with the title, The Impact of Herbicide Use in Palm Oil Plantation to Environment and Health. Okay, this is my CV. I'm from Palembang, Indonesia, South Sumatra, Indonesia. I am a lecturer. My expert is in pesticide to environment and health effect. Until now, the formulation of pesticide reached 3,207. One of them is a herbicide. Herbicides are currently most widely used in palm oil plantation. One of them is paraquat. Paraquat is one of active ingredient in use at palm oil plantation. In Indonesia, paraquat is restricted. However, paraquat is still widely used freely in plantation to control weeds, and its use is not in accordance with procedure and is not strictly supervised. The use of paraquat does not meet standards can pollute environmental media, namely soil, water, and air. And then how paraquat can enter the worker's body? Paraquat can enter the worker's body through inhalation, and dermal. From inhalation, when spraying on oil palm plantation. Through by spraying, and then inhalation, when spraying on our palm oil plantation, workers eat, drink, smoke, and blow the nozzle. And then through the dermal, pesticide can enter the body workers through that sticks to clothes and can enter the dermal because workers don't clean their bodies or showers after being exposed to pesticides. And there is no special room to cleaning the body. The goals of our study is to analyze paraquat contamination in soil, water, and air, environmental media, and how high the risk question or RQ is for the next few years. And then the second, to analyze presence of pesticides in workers' body and the effects on workers' health. The methodology of our study is this research was conducted in our palm oil plantation in South Sumatra in 2015 until 2016. with design transactional, and the approach is environmental health risk analysis. Environmental media data were taken, soil, water, and air. Water data were collected through record examination in urine and health complaints experienced by workers. This is the result of paraquat in soil. Our study found that paraquat concentration in soil is 4.44 ppm. So the unit is ppm. We had five devices. We checked the soil in a paraquat in the soil with the maximum. All of the paraquat in soil is low from the maximal levels. And then the paraquat examination in water, there are the same as with standard maximum levels. There are 0.01. This is from groundwater that use the workers to daily activity like washing and then for drinking too. And then the table of paraquat examination in the air or airborne paraquat residue, we found that paraquat residue in airborne is 0.0125. There are below for threshold limit value or TLV. And then we calculate the intake of paraquat into the body. We calculate the intake with a formula. This is from formula Loba and Holber. We calculate that intake non-carcinogenic paraquat is one of active ingredient is non-carcinogenic, not carcinogenic, not carcinogen. There are intake 0.00035 milligram per kilogram per day. And then we calculate the risk question. Risk question for estimate the level of pesticide or the dangers of pesticide a few years later. That calculate is 0.058 milligram per weight per day. So this is safe if we can divide it. But in the air or airborne paraquat exposure, we calculate the inhalation dose and risk question. In inhalation dose and risk question is over 1. Yeah, this is okay. And then after that, we are identification of active ingredient used in palm oil plantation in South Sumatra, Indonesia. At palm oil plantation, there use many gramoxone. Gramoxone is trade name. And then active ingredient is paraquat dichloride or paraquat. And then trade name Roundup. Roundup is a trade name, but active ingredient is glyphosate. And then biofuran, active ingredient methyl methylfuran. And then synergy, active ingredient is difenoconazole, propiconazole. And then D10, active ingredient mancozeb. And then Simbas, active ingredient is cipermethrin. Marshall is carbosulfan, active ingredient. And then Matador, active ingredient. Lambda, cihalotrin. And the next step, our study is check paraquat concentration in workers' urine. We found that from gender, we describe that category male and female. There are many female than male workers in the palm oil plantation. We know we found that median of paraquat concentration that 3.09, but the value minimum is 0.2 and 5, and the maximum value concentration paraquat in urine is 227.39. But in female, we found that median is 20.78, and the minimal value is 1.25, and then maximum is 35.75. But we describe to work activity sprayer and supervisor. Sprayer, we found that concentration paraquat in urine, the median is 3.98, with minimum and maximum is 0.25 until 35.75. And supervisor, the median is 2.786, and minimum and maximum is 0.25 until 23.26. And then the next step, we collect data about health complaints due to pesticide exposure in palm oil plantation. From data that we found is each skin is 61.7%, and then muscle pain, and then red eyes, and tingling, and coach, and muscle cramp. This is the data is only head complaints. And then we check the hemoglobin levels in palm oil workers. We found from female and male, the mean of hemoglobin level is 13.69, and then for female is 12.6. So incidence of anemia in palm oil workers is anemia as many as 30 workers. And then we collect the data, use of personal protective equipment, and the contamination of the exposure to paraquat. So we use that category incomplete and complete and not standard. From 60 workers, we become the respondent. We found that incomplete use personal protective equipment is 54%, 50, 58.3, but complete is 41 and 7. So all of personal protective equipment is not standard that used. And then the contamination after exposure to paraquat, the workers cannot decontamination after exposure to paraquat 76.7%. So the conclusion of our study is paraquat herbicide can pollute the soil, water, and air environment. And respiration level or RQ paraquat in the air is dangerous for workers. Most palm oil plantation workers suffer from anemia, and the majority of health complaints are itchy skin. The presence of paraquat in urine is found in all workers, both male and female. And then our recommendation is personal protective equipment according to standards, and special room or special place to clean the body and wash clothes after exposure to pesticides should be provided. Environmental monitoring is carried out routinely and less once a year. Health check or medical checkup are not only carried on a general health, but also need biomarker examination to determine the presence of pesticide in the worker's body. There needs to be a workers' nutrition program. Okay, that's enough. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Maksuk, for presenting your study. I was a bit surprised seeing from your presentation that there are more level of paraquat found in the urine of female in the community. It is higher than the males. And I thought that, oh, it's also normal to have like the workers have higher level of paraquat compared to the supervisors, because the workers like the sprayers, the one doing the spraying, are directly exposed to the paraquat. Thank you again. I think for our attendees here, if you have questions, please feel free to type your questions on the chat, and then later on we will have time for Q&A. Okay, thank you again. And also, just to remind, we have interpretation for Chinese and Bahasa Indonesia. So for those who would like to go to the interpretation channels, please also do so. So thank you again, Dr. Maksuk, for your important study. I'd like to hear more from you later, but for now, we will proceed to the next presentation.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so our next presenter, their organization, the Wonjin Institute for Occupational and Environmental Health, based in South Korea, did a study on highly hazardous pesticide exposure monitoring in Asian countries, no, in 2022. And we requested Dr. Won Kim to present the results of the study. Dr. Won Kim is the Director for Research at the Wonjin Institute. You can now take the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Chinky. It's a great honor to be here for presentation. The topic for my presentation is about the HHP exposure monitoring in Asian countries. Before the presentation, I'd like to introduce my institute. I'm working at Wonjin Institute for Occupational and Environmental Health. We have about 26 years of history, and we have many research areas such as the occupational hygiene and epidemiological studies, and even the biomonitoring studies. All of these studies could be possible because we have our one laboratory to analyze the environmental samples and even specimens such as the blood and the urine. So we made the project. The name is Safe Agriculture, Safe Asia, which is funded by the Korea Financial Industry Foundation and networked by the IPAN. So in this study, we make several objectives. First of all, we want to detect the HHP in rural communities, and we were to evaluate the pesticide exposure status in farmers and their families, and we want to find out the exposure source to the pesticide. In this project, four IPAN participating organization joined this project. For example, the CGFED and CCI in Vietnam, and CAP in Malaysia, and the IDIS in the Philippines. And we collected 687 samples, 87 samples. In these samples, we collected the householders and crops and urine and even the patches. Was applied to measure the thermal exposures. This picture shows the process of sampling the crops and the urine and the house dust and even the thermal patch. And I already said we have our one laboratory, so we analyze the urine to detect the pesticide, and this is one of the results. We tested about 560 pesticide active ingredient to detect in the samples. And finally, we detected about 125 active ingredients in the samples. And 66 pesticide it was highly hazardous pesticide. As you know, the highly hazardous pesticide means they have one of the highly hazardous toxins, such as so they can be grouped classified as a carcinogen, mutagen, or reproductive toxics, and and even they have a very acute toxicity. So in this table, you about 66 pesticide could be classified as a HHP, and we referred the consolidated list of banned pesticide prepared by the PAN International. And this table shows the pesticides detected in the crops. We collected vegetable and fruits and the rice, and we also tested whether they contain the pesticide. So in these crop samples, we detected about 48 very highly hazardous pesticide was detected. So in this table, the red character means it is classified as a HHP, and the red and bold character means they are banned pesticide in Malaysia and Vietnam. It means the banned pesticides are used on the crops in Malaysia and Vietnam. And this table shows the results from the house dust. We collected the dust from each participant, and we analyzed the dust whether they contain how many pesticide or which the pesticide are contaminated in the dust. The dust is a very good surrogate to evaluate the indoor contamination status. So about 30, oh, I'm sorry, 35 pesticides were detected, and the red character means they are HHP, and the bold and red character means they are a banned pesticide in Philippines and Vietnam. So the living environment, especially in the house, also contaminated by the highly hazardous pesticide you can see in these figures. And this is the result about the urine test. We collected the urine from the farmers and hired farmers, hired sprayers. And we also collected the urines from the farmer's family, the spouses and the children. So we collected the urine samples from the Vietnam, about 200 samples, and we collected about 80 samples from Philippines. In Vietnam, the parathion and chloropyrifos is banned in Vietnam, but we detected some level of parathion and chloropyrifos in the urine from the farmers and their families. It means that the banned parathion and chloropyrifos is currently used in Vietnam. So they are exposed to some level of parathion and chloropyrifos. And even and also in the Philippines, we detected the parathion in their urines. The detection rate for parathion in Philippines was 90%, and detection rate for the chloropyrifos is 100%. It means almost all the farmers and their families are exposed to this banned pesticide. And this figure shows how much they are exposed to such a highly hazardous pesticide. In the left side, the bar graph represents the exposure status to the pyrethroid insecticide. The 3-PBA is the non-specific pyrethroid insecticide metabolite. So in this figure, the samples from CCI in Vietnam shows the very high level of exposure status, especially for the higher the sprayer. But in some cases, the urine from the spouses in Vietnam show, and even even their children show very high level of very high level of exposure status compared to other groups. And right side, the bar graph showed the exposure level to the parathion, which is banned in the Vietnam. But the farmers in Vietnam and the hired sprayer showed high level of exposure to the parathion. So we can infer that they are currently use the parathion the banned parathion in their own countries. And and also the exposure level in the children in Vietnam was very high compared to the other countries. And this pattern was similar in the chlorpyrifos exposure status. In this figure, you can see the higher the sprayer in Vietnam exposure status is very high compared to other group. And in the children group, the chlorpyrifos exposure level compared to the USA children in USA is about twofold and twofold to fivefold higher compared to the children in USA. It means they are very highly exposed to the chlorpyrifos. And as you know, the chlorpyrifos is one of the candidate parts on the Stockholm Convention. And the PAN uh, already classified 20 terrible pesticides that are very toxic to the children. And chlorpyrifos and parathion is under the list of 20 terrible pesticides very toxic to the children because they have very toxic to nervous system and development, and uh, they are one of the endocrine disrupting chemicals. So they are very toxic to the children, but the result from this study showed that the children in Vietnam and Philippines are severely exposed to these very toxic chlorpyrifos or even the parathion compared to the other countries. We compared the contamination level based on the distance from the field where the pesticide was sprayed. In this figure, the farther away they live from the field where the pesticide was sprayed, the higher the concentration were found in the urine. And this pattern was similar in the dust samples. The the farther the distance from the field, the contamination level in the dust was higher. So we can make a conclusion like this. In the Asian countries, they use very much pesticide, and of them very high hazardous pesticide in the pesticide they use. So the contamination level is very severe. And even the banned pesticides were used currently. So this is one of the main problem, and the exposure level was very high. The exposure to the farmer is one of the occupational exposure, but the exposure to the spouse and even their children was even higher compared to the other countries. It means the community around the field are severely exposed to high level of pesticide. So I think that as I said, Dr. Maxu said, the pesticide must be controlled under the strong regulation in Asian country because the result from our study shows they are severely contaminated. As a result, they are highly exposed to the highly hazardous pesticides. So we need a strong regulation in Asian countries, I think. This is what prepared today, and thanks for listening.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Juan, for sharing the results of your study on highly hazardous pesticides in Asia. It's really alarming to imagine that highly hazardous pesticides, both banned and unregulated, are affecting, contaminating our environment and also affecting the health of the farmers and also their family and their children, no, including our food, contaminating our food sources. So thank you again for your presentation. To have a break from the presentations, we will now go to the sharing that we invited two of the participating organizations of IPEN, who are also, I mean, the organizations that are also part of this study. So we invited Justine Hungyan, um, Environment Research Officer of Interfacing Development Interventions Incorporated, an NGO based in the Philippines, and also Thoy Kim, the Executive Director of the Research Center for Gender, Family, and Environment, to share, you know, because they're part of the study and also they have existing initiatives um, in the Philippines and also in Vietnam. So Okay, so I'm gonna spotlight the two of you. um, hello. So you were part of this study, right? I mean, the two of you personally part of the study in collecting the samples. Were you able to participate in the actual collection of samples? Oh, who would like to answer first? Toy? You also participated in the actual collection of samples during the conduct of the study that Dr. Juan presented. Or Justine? Or anyway, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but Justine, before because you prepared your PowerPoint presentation, but before you present, let me call first Thoy, no, Thoy, to share about their work on HHPs in Vietnam, and also
Okay,
your reflections on the study presented. Go ahead, Thoy. Thank you.
okay, thank you, Chinti. Good afternoon, everyone. My name Thuy. I am from Research Center for Gender, Family, and Environment in Development. The short name is CZFest. Today, I would like to share with you the CZFest work in addressing highly hazardous pesticide in recent years. As a Vietnamese NGO established in 1993, CZFed has a mission to implement action research and policy advocacy to promote gender equality and women human rights. Three priority topics of CZFed are the first, the gender equality and sexual reproductive health and rights. The second is the gender justice and sustainable environment. And the third, the gender sensitivity in media education and law. In the gender and environment area, CZFest focus on issues women health, working conditions, and women rights. Since 2008, thanks to the technical support from Pesticide Action Network in ASEAN Pacific, CZFed has carry out activity to reduce and eliminate toxic pesticide in agriculture. Firstly, we increase knowledge and capacity for farmer, focusing on the female farmer on pesticide and monitoring based on community the use of pesticide in agriculture, especially the toxic pesticide. We carry out research with the collaboration by PANIP to find out the knowledge, attitude, and behavior of farmers about the toxic pesticide. And as Mr. Won Kim just mentioned, we collaborated with the Ujin Institute of Occupational and Environmental Health to test urine sample, dust sample, and vegetable for pesticide residue. The reason of the research show how farmers use the pesticide as well as have find out the factors that influence their choice on highly poisonous pesticide. The reason of this research also help us to develop communication material, policy brief to carry out communication event in community and school, like the campaign on protect our children from toxic pesticide, campaign 16-day action on eco-ecology, and campaign no pesticide usage. The reason of this research will also CZFed used for policy advocacy activity. Since 2017 to now, the Vietnamese government has eliminated some highly toxic pesticide in agriculture production. For example, phase out paraquat in 2019, thiaclopyrifos, fipronil, and glyphosate in 2021. In parallel with the advocacy activity to eliminate toxic pesticides, CCFET has a support pioneering women farmer group to apply eco-agroecology farming. They have used organic fertilizer and herbal pesticide for their field and family garden. They also guide other family in the community to apply eco-agroecology farming. Yeah, that is some successful activity that CZFed has done in recent year. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Toy. Yes, Justine, please go ahead. You can take the floor now. You can
Hi.
also, I think.
Hi. Is it okay if I just if I also share my screen?
Yes, go ahead.
All right.
Thank you.
So hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. So I'm Justin Pungyan, the Environmental Research Officer of EDs, and I'll be sharing to you our campaigns na related to our to highly hazardous pesticides or HHPs. So earlier Dr. Won Kim this shared no, the recent research which our organization have taken part. Although I was not actually part of the sampling phase of the research. I was able to read the results, and then I'm also part of the drafting of our policy efforts in particularly addressing our problems with HHPs. So I would like to introduce our organization. So we are Interfacing Development Interventions for Sustainability, or EDIS for short. So we are a non-government organization based in Davao City, dedicated for the protection and preservation and management of watersheds in a ridge to reef approach. So what we do is basically we use research as basis for our policy advocacies. So with the research to policy approach, we are definitely confident that our efforts are all data driven. And a bit of history, aligned with our advocacy with the reach to reef approach on watershed protection, we conducted two studies. One was the pesticide drift in using air samples in 2012, and then with the recent with another pesticide drift study with using urine and dust samples. So with a partnership of One Gene Institute of Occupational and Environmental Health. So the study discovered traces of banned pesticides in the urine and dust samples in a certain barangay in Davao City. So this barangay is actually situated nearby and within pineapple plantations. So special thanks to Dr. Won Kim, our the speaker earlier, and his colleagues in Wonjin for sharing their expertise during the research. So our organization, together with several partner communities, we're still fighting against aerial spraying, and we have been critical of these unsustainable agricultural practices near our watersheds. So just a bit quick, no, you can see the map. There we You can see the monocrop plantations near watersheds, and most of them are pineapple and banana plantations that are mostly using pesticides. No? And this watershed, the Panigan Tamugan watershed, is currently the drinking main source of drinking water in Davao City, and we are afraid that these unsustainable practices of using pesticides can affect our source of water. So it's surrounded by pineapple and banana monocrop plantations. And in Barangay Tawan-Tawan, no, the center of the community is actually, you can see from the aerial map, it's surrounded by monocrop plantations of particularly pineapple. And I think it was already discussed earlier by Dr. Won Kim. The 2022 study, we have high concentrations of insecticides in the farmers' houses within the 30 meters of the plantation. So one of which is parathion, a banned pesticide in the Philippines, was detected in the dust and urine. And there are also even in the prior studies that we conducted, there already found pesticides banned in the Philippines. And even though in 2022 study only one banned pesticide was detected in the samples, there are 7 other compounds included in the terrible pesticides of PANAP, and 22 or banned or not approved in EU were detected in the dust and urine. So we need to note that these samples are urine samples from family members and dust samples in their houses. So this highlights the exposure to pesticides may not be necessarily direct exposure to during application, but the pesticide exposure are brought to homes because of pesticide drift. So in terms of our campaigns, no, having this data, we have drafted and lobbied the passage of the pesticide drift regulation ordinance. And we have also presented the results to the local stakeholders here in Davao City, to the residents, to the farmers, and also through a public forum last February 2024 in celebration of our ban aerial spray campaign anniversary every February. So we promoted the study results as well and policy recommendations through multimedia and newsletters. I will be showing some of them later. And then we also lobbied for additional chemicals to be banned by the Fertilizer and Pesticides Authority during the public forum that we conducted last February. And also we promoted the organic zones in Davao City. There are a number of barangays that have been adapted as organic zones. So um, it's part of being an organic zone is the use of sustainable agricultural practices. That includes using not using HHPs. So here are some of our research presentations. No, so we have presented the research in different outlets with EcoWaste Coalition and also with One Gene Institute. So we also lobbied the policy on the pesticide drift to the Sangguniang Panlusod of Davao. That's the lawmaking body of Davao City. And here are also some examples of our campaigns through multimedia, newsletters, and statements. So we also utilize social media for public awareness raising. And this is our forum. No? We call it the eradication. So it's like eradicating the aerial spray per se. You know? So soaring towards sustainable agriculture. And in this forum, we invited participants from the local government, the Fertilizer and Pesticide Authority, civic groups, organic agriculture advocates, and local farmers. And we have also this is the salient features of the policy that we have drafted. There was already an ordinance on banning aerial spray in as an agricultural practice in 2007, but it was declared unconstitutional in 2016. So as to avoid such possibility and ensuring that agricultural practices have less to no impact to the environment and to the communities, we lobbied another ordinance or a policy that will regulate pesticide drift. So this pesticide drift intensified by aerial spraying, drone spraying, and other pesticide spraying practices. And for our ways forward, we are planning to expand our campaign on the HHPs. So we want that the FPA or the Fertilizer Pesticides Authority would adapt our would include no more HHPs in their list of pesticides to be banned for use, and also conducting more forums and also tapping our government agencies to help us in our campaign against HHPs. So that would be all for our campaigns, no, and we are hoping for more partnerships with our organizations that we have here. We have IPEN and OneGen and EcoWaste and other organizations. So that will be all, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Justine and Toy again. So before we proceed to the next presentations, I would like to request our resource persons earlier, Dr. Maksuk, Dr. Wan Kim, of course, Justine and Toy. No, there's a question in our chat box, and I think we can ask this question to Dr. Wan and and also to Dr. Maksuk. So, what specifically the negative effects of long-term exposure to HHPs to human health, to women, girls, and pregnant women? So, because the studies that you presented earlier showed that there are community members that were detected with HHPs, in their urine, and there are also effects on the health. So can you expound further the effects of HHPs to these vulnerable sectors? Who would like to answer first? Dr.
Uh,
Won?
yeah, the uh, it is good to understand the meaning of the HHP. HHP is a very highly toxic to human and environment, and they are classified when if they have toxicity like carcinogen or mutagen or reproductive toxicity. So they have a basically have a very toxic effect to the human, and many of the HHP is endocrine disrupting chemicals. It means that it can disturb the hormone status in the body. So it hamper the development and adjusting the healthy status. So it can be it can be it can uh, oh, oh that's what I can say about the questions.
Thank you, Dr. Won. I see there's one attendee who raised her hand. Faisa, can you say your question now?
Okay, thank you, moderator. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I'm Faiza Yuniati from Palembang Health Polytechnic. Good evening, everyone. Firstly, I would like to extend my sincere compliments to all our presenters in this webinar, especially to Dr. Maksud from Palembang Health Polytechnic for her insightful presentation on the HHP. Your expertise and clarity in your presentation on such an important topic are truly commendable. Additionally, I would like to acknowledge the organizers for hosting this valuable event. With that, I would like to ask a question to Dr. Masuk regarding your presentation. You mentioned that paraquat is classified as a non-carcinogenic intake in water with a risk quotient value of 0.0058 milligram per weight per day. Could you please explain the significance of this figure, please? Thank you.
Nikki, can I answer?
Yes, please go
the
ahead.
question?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Faiza Yuniati. I would like to explain you about the risk question. We know that risk question, the different with statistical calculate. Risk question is to estimate paraquat a view later. Okay, I want to explain you with my paper. Okay. Paraquat is classified as a non-carcinogenic chemicals group. The results of the risk question, paraquat or RQ, paraquat was still within safe limits. Still safe, but is not safe. Where RQ under 1. It means that the risk question RQ of paraquat in the body varies and depends on the weight of workers. We know that for calculate the risk question, we must be calculate in intake non-carcinogenic, and then we divide with RFD. RFD is a reference dose for short-term exposure. So for short-term exposure, RFD for paraquat was 0.006 milligram cation for kilogram body weight. And then paraquat concentration intake into the body worker was not only based on the activity daily intake or RFD. However, workers' exposure to paraquat to risk require an assessment based on the primary route to exposure. So the DRQ 10150 egg is intake in paraquat in the water. So this is estimate for 30 view letter. So this is a long time exposure. The intake of residue paraquat cannot lose in the body. Maybe that's enough for my answer. Faiza University, I come to Chinky. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your response. I think we need more time to discuss this uh, important interpretation of the data. But since we're also running out of time, we thank our speakers for answering the questions, and also we thank the attendees for your questions. Please stay tuned as we are going to have um, three more important speakers, and I'm sure that they will be presenting important topics as well. So have another round if we have time, and if you can stay, I think, for a few minutes after the presentations, we'll have more time for the Q&A later. So this time, I'm going to call on Ibu Rusana Dewi, the Director for Organizational Development of Yayasan Gita Pertiwi in Indonesia, to also share, because they've conducted a study on chlorpyrifos, environmental and health issues in Indonesia in 2022 to 2023. Ibu Dewi, go ahead.
Okay. Good. Yeah. Okay. Good morning. Good afternoon. Hello, everybody. Yes, I am Rosana Dewi from Gita Pertiwi. I will share you about the one chemical on HHP list who currently is very being discussed in the global meeting. I will start about the I will not share about my research like Bu Bakso or Mr. Won. I am only sharing about our day study about situation chlorpyrifos in Indonesia based on our country report of chlorpyrifos support from IPEN. I think everybody know about chlorpyrifos is a part of organophosphate pesticide who used in the global in 1965. In Indonesia, we didn't have what is official using, but in our government, our government regulations since 73 define the starting of chlorpyrifos in Indonesia. Chlorpyrifos is very used widely farmers as a contact poison for insect attack. Chlorpyrifos is the highly toxic organophosphate pesticide who have what is impact, and the exposure is very high, like brain development and many cases in the hearts. I think it's good news about the chlorpyrifos last month in Rome because PRC agree of chlorpyrifos as the part of the list under of the Rotterdam Convention and Stockholm Convention and NEA. So chlorpyrifos is decided to recommend of this NEA. So it's very important for every country who signing of this convention, part of recommended to ban in the country. Until now, only 40 countries is banned in across in the world. And Indonesia is only spirit of a ban. I will show you after this. This is the situation in Indonesia, who chlorpyrifos is the part of the global market. Like the first, the figure, I will show you about the number of pesticide registered in Indonesia. What this mean? This is the mean of Indonesia is a very, very big market of pesticide. This is the part of pesticide in agriculture and forest area. And why? Because very benefit of pesticide market in Indonesia, like I'm access from Morton industry report. This is show you about how many billion only from insecticide, not only in herbicide, anything, and also pesticide like that. And this is Indonesia have only factory, but the chlorpyrifos component we imported from abroad. We didn't find the official data from our government, but we collect from Zauba and UN Comtrade data about how many trade value import of insecticide. This is one of our finding. Chlorpyrifos is imported from India and they export to Indonesia, and some we find it from China. Uh, I will show you about the. I say this is the part of half Hadley because in Indonesia, chlorpyrifos only banned in household area. We have to what is experience or history about the ban of chlorpyrifos. One, when in 1986, when we have a problem about brown plant hopper attack, it's very big area in Indonesia, attack of brown plant hopper. So our president have instruction. We ban 57 pesticide brand name, not compound of the chemical, 5 of the component from chlorpyrifos. But this is only banned in rice plantation, but still using on agriculture and horticulture, vegetable, and some. Some chlorpyrifos using in household area too. And the second, chlorpyrifos has been on 2007, only limited area. Like this is, I will show you about the regulation. Chlorpyrifos only banned and using in household area. But until now, so many farmers using of that. From our monitoring, we found more 60 brand name use of chlorpyrifos, use of many agriculture and vegetable, fruit, anything to insecticide. And I will show you about the impact of chlorpyrifos in Indonesia. We found many journal activity founded impact of chlorpyrifos because so many residues contaminate in soil and organism and anything and water so on. Yeah, this is a limited journal. I show you about the residues chlorpyrifos in food, like and shallot and long bean and rice, anything, and bean, anything. So fine. So many food contain have a residues of chlorpyrifos in our food. Yeah. And so many journal too showing about the residues and our environment, like in fish, cell, soil, water, anything. It's many. So many. Yes. So many residues and anywhere, food and soil, anything. And it's very important too about the health impact of chlorpyrifos. I will show you so many journals showing about that. Yes, I will show you one case that is very important and make me sad. But me sad. This is a case of thyroid. This is thyroid and the children. This is one district in Central Java. And one a team lead of Dr. Rasipin, he saw about he have a research about the impact of chlorpyrifos in the Brebes. So many people have a thyroid disorder, but it's very important. This research founding of these children treated of iodine deficiency. This is impact of chlorpyrifos. So it's very important too. It's one about very dangerous impact of chlorpyrifos using in Indonesia. In Indonesia, we can finding so many cases. Like yesterday, I have a training in it's the same place in Brebes. This is in the part of district in Central Java. One of the speakers talking about the increased casing of kidney. What is I don't know say it Indonesia gagal ginjal, like a kidney disorder like that, because for 2 years increase more 1,000 people about that from only one what is hospital. So many university starting research about that, both the causes of the very high of kidney problem in there, because not only for adult human, they found it of the children cases like that. So this is they still finding about what the pesticide commonly using of the cases of the kidney. Yeah, yeah. I will show you about our activity, very short about our activity in from Gita TV. We educate to farmers, community, and consumer to how to elimination of pesticide and their life like that. I will show you about the activity with our farmer and consumer. We working with agroecology approach, how to woman, small farmer reduce of pesticide. We working with 2 minutes there. Or diversity of food, diversity anything, and we trying to reduce of chemical and fertilizer too. We're working with many farmer in Central Java, East Java, and other places. And we usually start capacity building. This is how we make increase their capacity, farmer, consumer, cadre in the community, local government, about hundreds of pesticide. We working with the children too, with like what is apa boneka like a like a education with toys like that about the impact of pesticide. We working with cadre, starting with the read of the label, what understand, and we use of the body mapping to identify of impact of pesticide and their body like that. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And the last we working too with the community monitoring for advocacy. We monitoring of the salad trade on the market, and we monitoring in the e-commerce about the ban pesticide who's still selling in the market like that. and we communicate with the government. We trying about soil test, like anything, many activity similar with you. Okay, I think, yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you
Enough.
so
Thank you. You're
much, Ibu
welcome, Chinky.
Vivi.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing your study on comparative foods and your initiatives also, no, in Indonesia and promoting agroecology. So thank you so much again. So our next two topics are also equally very interesting. So that is why I'm going to call them now first. To share with us how they promote a regulation, no, on pesticide waste management. I'm going to request now Zhao Zong, the founder and director of Green Camel Bell, an IPAN PO based in Indonesia, to share other. Yes, Zhao Zong,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
Take the floor. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for the introduction and the invitation. And today I will just try to. Just a minute, please. Okay. Okay. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Zhao Zhong, which is a grassroots environment NGO from Northwest China. Today I will be sharing about corporate responsibility in recycling and the disposal of pesticide packaging waste. So why we are working on pesticide waste? The primary answer is we should pay what we own our Mother Earth and the future generation. The pesticide waste contains chemical and toxic residues of crops, which contaminate soil and water, threaten public health directly or through polluted water or food. So, as my organization, Green Campbell, as a nonprofit source, as a nonprofit organization, we think is our responsibility. And also, we think for pesticide pollution, which can be identified as a non-point source pollution, and is widely spread and very difficult to control. And through our survey and investigation, we found out in China, the law enforcement on pesticide waste management is very weak. And in the context of rising demands of food and the problem of pesticide waste is worsening. So to protect the Yellow River and Yangtze River and improve the health of the river, we visited many water sources of some tributaries, and through the field investigation and the community survey, we identified pesticide pollution as the biggest environmental stress to water to the communities which are located in the water sources. So therefore, my organization started to focus on pesticide packaging waste in 2007, about 7 years ago. And our objective is to promote the recycling and the disposal of pesticide packaging waste and reduce the impact of pesticide packaging waste on soil, river, and people's health. So that's just some background of my organization and the history why we are working on pesticide packaging waste. And so we believe that the pesticide producer are one of the key players in recycling and the effective disposal of pesticide packaging waste. Here we first introduced a concept and extend. So the concept is called EPI, Extended Producer Responsibility. EPI is the policy framework that places the responsibility for managing a product's life cycle of the producer rather than consumer or local government. It means that pesticide producers are accountable for the environmental impact of their products throughout their entire lifespan. And the producers are responsible for ensure that their products are reusable, recycled, or deposited of an environmentally responsible manner. And let's go back to China. And China ratified the Basel, Rotterdam, and the Stockholm Convention, BRS conventions in 2004. This year is the 20th anniversary after China's ratified BRS convention. So as a hazardous chemical, the relevant prevention of BRS convention are also applicable to pesticide packaging waste. So that means we can use all all those articles inside the conventions to push the legislation and law enforcement in China, because China ratified the BRS. So let's go to check the Chinese domestic laws. Chinese domestic laws and regulation also have preventions related to pesticide packaging waste. For example, the Yellow River Protection Law was approved 3 years ago, and and it was approved 3 years ago, and we are also participating in the legislation process. And as the draft version, there's no article related to the pesticide packaging waste. And through our advocacy, and because there's during the lawmaking process, there's a period open to the public make comments. So the lawmakers are very clear and strong suggestions. We should involve the pesticide control and the pesticide packaging waste in the Yellow River Law. And very luckily, and in the final version of the Yellow River Protection Law, the pesticide articles has been included. And so the cultivated land, the agricultural land in Chinese two largest basins, the Yangtze River Basin and the Yellow River Basins, account for near 40% of China's total cultivated land areas. And the volume of pesticide use is enormous, and it might be, I forgot the exact numbers, but some research shows the use of the pesticide in China is more than the use for all other countries. So that's the reasons for Chinese NGOs, Chinese environment groups, we to work for the pesticide issues. And if we have the improper disposal of pesticide packaging waste, not only polluted water sources and farmland, but also pose a stress to the quality of agricultural product and the health and safety of humans. And we can see the Article 81 of the Yellow River Protection Law clearly stipulates that agricultural producers should scientifically handle and disposal of packaging waste from agricultural inputs, which established a starting point for exploring solutions to the problem of pesticide packaging waste in Yellow River Basin in future. So although the laws and regulation of pesticide management in China have been relevant sound, there are also several issues. For example, the national law still focuses on principled requirements, and there's a lack of clear penalty for violating recycle obligations. For example, if any pesticide producer, they just have a very little penalties, they will find they maybe will compare the cost of violation and the cost to comply with law. If the comply with the law have can be cheaper for their cost, maybe more producer will choose to violate the law. So that's also the bigger concern for the law is the penalty we think not enough to give the producer, give anybody a clear signal, and you cannot violate the noise. Okay, so the measures, we can see the measures for the administration of recycling and disposal of pesticide packaging waste have a clear penalty, but the penalty are very mild. If, just as I said, if the cost of violating the law is less than the cost of recycle pesticide producer, and the dealer will certainly choose to violate the law instead of recycling and proper disposal of packaging waste. So therefore, we found that some pesticide producers don't fulfill their legal obligation to recycle pesticide packaging waste. And according to the Article 6 of pesticide waste measures, this pesticide producer should actively fulfill their obligation for recycling and disposing of pesticide packaging waste, and recycle and dispose of pesticide packaging waste in a timely manner. So we select the producer of 5 most commonly used pesticides in our pilot villages, including 1 state-owned enterprises, 3 private, and 1 foreign enterprises. So we sent official letters to the 5 pesticide producers and about 3 years ago, and requesting information on their actions on pesticide waste recycling. And the fund, because if they fully comply with the law, they should allocate some money to recycling and disposal. And so we request information related to the fund invested to recycle pesticide waste for those companies. But unfortunately, none of these 5 companies responded to our letters. Therefore, we sent a complaint letter to the agricultural department of the city and provincial, where these 5 companies are registered respectively, complaining that 5 pesticide producers didn't fulfill their obligation to recycle pesticide waste. We attached photos of pesticide packaging waste that had not been recycled as evidence. And because if we can find the packaging waste on the field in the farmland, that should be the evidence, and to prove that the company didn't fulfill their recycling obligation. And after the complaint letter was sent, 2 pesticide producers contact us and provide some of information we requested, but other 3 pesticide companies still didn't respond. The legal requirements for the responsibility of a producer to recycle pesticide packaging waste are very clear. But in practice, most producers are currently not fulfill their responsibility, and there's a lack of transparency of information communication with the public. So pesticide producers have made profit in pesticide market, and there's no excuse for requiring them to take responsibility for environmental costs of pesticide packaging. So at the same time, producers have a high recycling capacity and are able to build a recycling network with the help of their sales network, because those producers, they have their local dealers, so they have their own network for marketing. So if they have willing, if they really want to do that, they can easily to recycle the packaging waste through their current market network. So we think pesticide producers are key player in driving the pesticide packaging waste issues. And in this case, we also promoting public advocacy. We carried out the community education into pilot program to raise awareness among villagers about the proper disposal of hazardous waste such as pesticide packaging waste. After a series of participatory training, discussion, and field study, 90% of farmers in our pilot program can distinguish hazardous waste, and the rate green pesticide waste recycling doubled from 30 to 60%. And this result proved to policymakers, the government, that through training gardens and participation, farmers' environmental awareness can be improved, and the farmer can actively participate in recycling of pesticide packaging waste. We also took a survey on pesticide use with about 200 households. The result shows the annual use of pesticide and herbicide is about 22 kilograms. That brings farmers just $17,000 income. So it's totally legitimate comparing with 260 kilotons pesticide use in the countries, but 22 kilogram pesticide is really a big issue for the environment and the people's health in the communities. So that's the reason we still are working with the communities, try to help them to reduce the pesticide use and also probably recycling the packaging. And this result demonstrated to the policymakers that in order to obtain a small amount of agricultural income, we have used too much pesticide. Therefore, it's necessary to consider reducing the use of pesticide and transitioning to organic agriculture. This data also provide a reference for how many pesticide bottles and bags need to be collected each year to achieve full recycling of pesticide packaging waste. And our project have a two pilot program. One is in the Yellow River Basin, another is in the Yangtze River Basin. We have recycled more than 13,000 pesticide bottles and bags in these two villages, provide 0.1 to 0.5 Chinese yuan subsidy for each. And we emphasize to farmers that they were not selling pesticide waste. The money is a reward for their good environmental behaviors. And the pesticide waste recycling costs about 100 to 2,000 annually for a village. So that means $200 can clean up a village free from pesticide waste. We are still evaluating the environment and health benefit of recycling. We hope to demonstrate to the policymaker the feasibility, because some governments say that it's too hard to really recycle the packaging waste, and we demonstrate the government that the feasibility, and we also share our experience in the implementation process and provide a cost benefit analysis of pesticide packaging waste recycling in the long run, and we hope that the pilot model in two communities can be replicated in more communities, and more rural area can achieve the goal of no pesticide packaging waste. Okay, that's my sharing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zhao Zong. Interesting presentation and how the EPR framework is being used to to manage the pesticide waste packaging. So I have lots of questions on my mind, but for now, we will call our last but not the least, definitely not the least speaker, Sue Ziran, the Communication and Advocacy Officer of Beijing Nature Fields, no, and IPEN participating organization also based in China, to also present their initiatives. And then after this, we will have the Q&A. The floor is yours now, Zhu.
Okay. Hello everyone, I'm Xu Xiran from China Nature Fields, and I'm very happy to share with you our actions on pesticides. First of all, I would like to give you a brief introduction of our organization. Nature Fields is an advocacy-based environmental organization. Currently, we are focusing on rural areas, and one of our main focuses is pesticide-related issues. We have one program called Eco Bomb Diffusal Plan and another program called Food Guardians. Let me first introduce some of the actions and progress of the Eco Bomb Diffusal Plan program. From 2021, we have focused on the recycling of pesticide packaging waste, hoping to eliminate them in the countryside field and explore the resource utilization of plastic ones. The policy requires that local governments at all levels should establish a sound system for the recycling and treatment of pesticide packaging waste. But in the past few years, our research has found that there are regional differences in the treatment of them. In fact, some localities have already established a recycling system, while others have not taken any measures to treat the waste. In order to further promote the governance of pesticides packaging waste, this year we and other 6 partner organizations launched the action group of the Clean Field Project and reached a consensus that we will jointly focus on the governance of pesticide packaging waste and that each partner organization will combine its own strengths and local conditions to explore differentiated paths to solving the problem. This year, our research in Anhui Province found that pesticide packaging waste in some areas did not enter the independent recycling and treatment system, but mixed with other plastics for reuse, which may affect the quality of recycled plastics and product safety. Some of the pesticide packaging waste also goes into the domestic garbage cans, and this may cause many environmental leakage problems. So we plan to select a multinational pesticides manufacturer listed on the market to carry out public interest litigation against its failure to comply with the recycling obligations. In addition, we also join the action team to carry out the monitoring of pesticides packaging leakage. Next, I would like to introduce the recent actions of Food Guardians. We have been promoting fresh food e-commerce platforms to strengthen compliance monitoring of high-risk chemical residues in food, including high-risk pesticides residues. Last year, we conducted 3 free consumer testing campaigns focusing on e-commerce platforms, where about 20% of China's fruits and vegetables consumption is done through them. We have selected 3 kinds of vegetables and tested them for high-risk pesticide residues, chlorpyrifos and carbofuran. We tested a total of 102 samples from more than 50 consumers, and they are from 10 cities, including Beijing and Shanghai. The results of the test show that 4 vegetables were found to have exceeded the standard, most by 55 times, which is rather alarming. Afterwards, we contacted these companies to report it to the corresponding local market supervision bureaus. 2 platforms took down the vegetable products, and the market supervision departments also inspected the stores involved. They also require one platform to add the indicator of carbofuran to its future test reports. In the end, I would like to end my sharing with the slogans of EcoBomb Diffusal Plan and Food Guardians. We hope to make pesticides packaging waste no longer stray, and we call on everyone to pay attention to highly hazardous pesticide residues in fruits and vegetables to join us and keep your family's food safe. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your great initiative in the Beijing Nature Fields, Susaran. Now, we'll have a quick round of Q&A. So may I request our resource person, I'm going to spotlight the 3 of you, Ibu Dewi, Zhao Zong, and also Susaran. So if there are questions from the floor, so may I have one question like, So how do you make the people interested in pesticide waste packaging? Like, because pesticides packaging are quite hazardous waste. So how do you explain, and how do you encourage the community to participate in this initiative? And also, who pays? I mean, because you pay for the pesticide waste packaging that you collect. So uh, who pays? Are the money, I mean, is the money comes from you, or from the companies? Zauzo and Zuzuran, would you like to answer, please? Thank you. And also, please open your video.
Okay, yeah, and I will try to respond first. And Shuran, if you have any comments, please just correct me or add. And so I think we have two strategies. The first strategy is incentive, and as I said, each bottle we give the farmer 0.1 Chinese yuan. So that's is just about 2 cents for US dollar, 2 US cents, but it's still an incentive for the farmers if they found that they can give the packaging waste to the NGOs, to the government, and to get some reward back. They will have more motivation and to do that. And but we emphasize and we highlight to the farmers they are not selling the pesticide waste, because everyone knows the packaging waste is not something they can sell for money, and it's just an incentive, it's just a reward to their good environmental behaviors. So that's the first strategy. And the second is we give them some education on pesticide noise and regulations, and give them some warnings if they disposal the pesticide waste to the field, they are actually violate the law. So we want every farmers, every community members have a more awareness about the pesticide, and they can also understand the current regulations related to packaging the pesticide packaging waste. So that's our two strategies. Yeah.
Thank you, Zhaozong. Ju, would you like to add to that? It's also okay if not.
Okay, okay.
Sure.
Now we are trying to do some popular reason of science and explain the importance of recycling pesticide packaging waste to people in the form of articles and cartoons and maybe videos. Regarding the issue of the funding, we are trying to communicate with the local governments, hoping that they will provide financial support.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. As much as we really want to extend, but it's that we are really running over time. But I really appreciate all the inputs from our presenters and also the questions. So for all the attendees, if you have questions and things that you would like to ask to our speakers, please feel free to email me. And then I hope our speakers will also be okay if I'll email you if there are questions or clarifications or additional information that our attendees will request from you. Thank you. So thank you again. Now, sorry, but I think we need to close now. So I'm gonna request Ibu Yuyon for her closing words. Ibu Yuyon is here. She's I've been co-chair. I'm so happy to see you, Ibu. Please go ahead for your closing message.
Thank you, Chinky. And hello, everyone. I followed the conversation halfway because I was in the other call earlier. But thank you for organizing this, Chinky and Mani. Hello, Mani. It's good to see you here. um, and I followed halfway. It's very concerning that in our region, the highly hazardous pesticides are still freely sold and traded. And it's already entering our food chain. And I really applaud all your efforts to keep monitoring this and all doing your bits in your respective countries to raise this issue. And we have to keep pushing this because these highly hazardous pesticides are now becoming the center of attention under the global framework on chemicals. And hopefully, with the new alliance to eliminate the highly hazardous pesticides, we could boost the elimination of HHPs in our countries and our region. Thank you so much for organizing this. I think my knowledge added a bit because I follow halfway. I hope everyone also benefited from this webinar. And this is to boost your spirits that we have to keep fighting. And this is a marathon running. So we have to embrace yourself and increase your capacity. We can do this. We work together to fight for the toxic-free future. Thank you, Chinky. Back to you.
Thank you,
Chinky.
Ibu,
Yeah.
June, and thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. We have recorded this learning session, and we will share this with everyone because I've received some emails and messages that they won't be available to attend today. But I really appreciate all your presence, our speakers. Thank you so much, and also to our attendees for all your questions, and to our co-organizers. So thank you again. Thank you so much, everyone, and I'll see you again soon. So bye, everyone, and
Bye.
have a restful weekend.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.